Hi students, today we are going to study sound in cinema. Cinema remained silent and colorless for decades ever since its emergence. The Russian writer Maxim Gorky, after seeing an early movie, the first movie by Lumiere in the year 1896, he was struck by two sorts of sensory deficits. The first one is soundlessness and the second is lack of color. He was horrified by seeing dumb human beings on screen set in a colorless background. Sound on film dates from 1927 with Alan Crosland's The Jazz Singer, which was produced by Warner Brothers. The launching of this film shot Warner into the status of a major in the studio system. Sound put an end to the silent era of gestural slapstick comedy, which was associated with Chaplin and Keaton. At the same time, it created new genres like musical and screwball comedy, which was usually based on the battle between sexes. Sound even it affected the careers of actors, that is, actors whose voice did not match their filmic image, they had to leave. So, while actors with theatre experiences ascended on to the silver screen, it had its impact on narrative as well. So, sound ensured dialogue that came about greater space for social and psychological reality, and it made the movement of narrative faster. So, a sound film is a motion picture with synchronized sound or sound technologically coupled to image, which was opposed to a silent film. The sound films which included synchronized dialogue known as talking pictures or talkies. The earliest feature-length movies with recorded sound included only music and effects. The first feature film originally presented as a talkie was The Jazz Singer. It's by Warner. Jazz Singer. This was the first talkie film. Sound system. So at first, a single microphone was the only means of recording sound, which started to obstruct the movement of actors around. So the standardization of equipment and production practices made filmmaking a costly affair. In the 1970s, Dolby sound system with a 4-track stereo system having features for elimination of background noise replaced the stereophonic system. So today, if you see, Dolby Surround digital sound with multiple tracks is widely used the world over. So the most basic elements of the film soundtrack include speech, music, sound effect, etc. Sound helps to establish a locale and to effect the realization of time and space. Crocker differentiates actual sound from commentative sound. The dialogue rendered by the actors is actually referred to as the actual sound, whereas the dialogue of the people not in the scene, that is off screen, is termed as commentative. So, commentative sound, that is actual and actual sound. Sound within the frame is defined as synchronous, and the sound which has source outside the frame as asynchronous. The sound within the frame is synchronous and outside the frame is defined or called as asynchronous. The sound which is actual, synchronous and connected with the image is parallel sound, and that which is commentative, asynchronous, opposed to or in counterpoint with the image is contrapuntal sound. And now we are going to learn a diegetic and extradiegetic sound. So diegesis refers to the content of the narrative or the world of fiction presented as the story. If you say in film, it refers to the fictional reality or all that is happening on the screen. Diegetic sound is the sound that naturally occurs within the screen space, which may include dialogues by characters and other sounds associated naturally with the filmic space. Diegetic sound is also known as actual sounds or synchronous sound. So this synchronous, which we studied just now, the sound within the frame is defined as synchronous sound. So diegetic sound is also known as actual sound or synchronous sound. And the next type, second type, is extradiegetic sound. Extradiegetic sound, on the other hand, is related to the acoustic phenomena which have no point of origin on screen, such as voiceover, commentaries, and the background musical score, also called commentative sounds or asynchronous sound. So diegetic sound is the sound that naturally occurs within the screen. Diegetic sound is also known as actual sound or synchronous sound. And extradiegetic sound, on the other hand, is related to acoustic phenomena. It is also called commentative sound or asynchronous sound. There is another category of sound called intradiegetic sound. And if you see these, the source of intradiegetic sound, we do not see that on screen, but whose presence we know to exist within the narrative frame. Let us see what this intradiegetic sound now. Intradiegetic sound refers to the inner thoughts or voice of a narrator whose story we are watching on screen. Intradiegetic sound is closely connected with flashbacks and is used to intensify suspense. Rebecca by Alfred Hitchcock. Rebecca is Alfred Hitchcock's famous movie, is a fine example for the use of intradiegetic sound. Speech and music belong to the auditory elements of a film. Speech could be in the form of dialogue mostly, besides occasionally assigns or intradigetic voiceover or commentary. Speech is often used in film to accelerate the movement of the narrator and to enhance the spirit of realism. If you see music, on the other hand, may include songs actually sung by characters on screen, the background musical score, shifting subtly to arouse emotions proper to the context, and full-length songs composed of lyrics. Almost as a matter of rule, Western cinema, except a few based on the central theme of music like My Fair Lady by Nashaza, no, My Fair Lady, and the popular musicals, they avoid the use of full-length songs. And if you see popular cinema in other parts of the country is no exception in this case. Art or a parallel cinema often looks upon the use of songs in films as a kind of intrusion and attempts to avoid them as far as possible. Lastly, music in films can take the form of various sound effects used in it to reinforce the smooth flow of the narrative. And contrary to this, songs have been an integral part of most popular cinema in India right from its beginning. So, speech and music both belong to auditory elements. Meet you in next class. Thank you.